For mortals it is impossible, but not for God. For God all things are possible. Dear brothers and sisters, on this fifth Sunday in the ordinary time of the year, the readings invite us to look at the way God calls persons to be His messengers. The readings of today's Mass present us with the call of three persons: Isaiah in the first reading, Paul in the second reading, and Peter in the Gospel. Mark, in the context of the call of the rich man, records the statement of Jesus: "For mortals it is impossible, but not for God. For God all things are possible." We have the same event, the call of the rich ruler, also in Luke. Jesus says, "What is impossible for mortals is possible for God." Human minds think differently from God. Isaiah 55 verse 8 says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways." Humanly speaking, we look for the most qualified and experienced person for a job. That is why we have tests and interviews before appointing someone to a particular job or position. The more qualified and experienced a person is, we feel more secure and confident that everything will be fine and the projects will come to a successful completion. But how does God choose someone for His mission? How does God invite someone to share in His salvific plan for the world? There is neither an interviewing room nor a particular time or place. God calls people at any time and from everywhere. Isaiah is called when he is having a vision of the temple. Paul is called when he is in fact persecuting the church. And Peter is called when he is at his workplace. God can call anyone and at any time. When God calls, there is always a feeling of inadequacy and unworthiness. Isaiah says, "Oh, I am a man of unclean lips." Paul says that he is the least of all. Peter says, "Depart from me, Lord, for I am a sinful man." Moses would say, "I can't speak, please call someone else." Our Blessed Mother says, "How can this happen to me?" The Lord Jesus Himself, "Father, if possible, take this cup away from me." But God sees beyond our inadequacy and littleness and takes note of what His grace can do in our life and through us. The divine purifies Isaiah to make him ready to be His messenger. Paul says, "By the grace of God, I am what I am." From being a fisherman, Peter becomes a fisher of men. Once chosen, these people were ready to do anything for the Lord. They knew the mission was not theirs, but God's. They were never alone, but were accompanied and directed in all that they did. So they could confidently feel and say, "Here I am, send me for your mission." It is no longer I, but Christ lives in me and acts in me. Dear brothers and sisters, do we pay attention to God's call? Dukkinaltum, put out into the deep. The Lord is inviting each one of us to go beyond our insufficiency and limitations. The Lord is asking us to move from our expertise and the way of calculations to His ways. We are being asked to leave familiar shores or comfort zones and take risks to move out into the deeper waters to accomplish His mission for the world. Are we ready like Simon Peter? He does not question the logic of Jesus or impose his knowledge of fishing habits onto Jesus. He simply listens to Jesus and obeys his command. Only when we listen to Jesus can we make changes in our life. It is only then that we can grow and contribute to the fulfillment of God's plan for the world. Are we like Peter? Or are we frightened, unsure? But we are never alone. Simon left behind his expertise and knowledge to accommodate the plans of the Lord. What about us? Are we being guided by the Lord? If we stick to His plans, we will never be a failure. We will be able to accomplish great things and become partners in His plan of salvation for the world. What matters then is not our ability, but our total availability for the Lord and His work. If we are totally available, He will make us adequately qualified for His mission. He does not call the qualified, but He qualifies those whom He calls to carry out His vision for the world. When we comply with God's will, with His plans, He will transform us completely and make us sharers in His mission. We may not understand everything. It doesn't matter. He understands. Duk in altum, put out into the deep. Can we enthusiastically live and work for the Lord? Can we look at the past with gratitude and look at the future with confidence and hope? The Lord will accomplish His marvels in and through us if we give our 100% to Him. Human powerlessness can be turned into divine fulfillment. Mission impossible becomes possible with God's blessings. But I must play my part. As Paul says, woe to me if I do not preach the gospel.